Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Mavic Cosmic SL40 UST Tubeless Carbon Rim Brake Wheel Set. Mavic's Cosmic series of wheels balance weight, aerodynamics, and efficiency for cyclists looking to optimize their bike setup. In this review, we're going to be looking at the Mavic mid-level Cosmic SL40, which are one of the few rim brake wheel sets still being sold. These wheels are also one of the few wheel sets that survived Mavic's recent bankruptcy and are part of the brands to regain their position as a premier wheel manufacturer. As far as packaging, you can see you just get this nondescript box, which is kind of nice. Some of the Bontrager wheels come with a full branding on there, which would make them a very easy target for being stolen. There's not much on here, just some basic information, but no Mavic branding or anything like that. So I'll take these out and we'll take a look at what's in the box. What you can see is the box is actually really well packed. So when you open up the lid, you have this little cardboard holder, and then the wheel cradled in here by the simple cardboard holders, so it keeps everything in place while it's being shipped. So now that we have everything out of the box, we can go over the specs. Retail price on this is $1,550, so it's mid-level. They have a more expensive one as well as a newer $900 version. These are UST Tubeless, so that means you can run this with no tubes, and they're hooked, so compatible with a wide range of different wheels on the market. These have a 40 millimeter depth, so nice and deep, with a 26 millimeter outer profile and a 19 millimeter inner rim width. You can also see it has a very cool brake surface treatment, which is what they call their iTgMAX. So it's a special one-piece carbon fiber construction with a laser etching on top to give you great performance in the wet or dry conditions. You also get their infinity hub, which makes it nice and strong with this radial pattern on the non-drive side. And then on the drive side, you have this cross pattern that does not overlap. So it gives you better power efficiency and tension distribution. And they also have the Instant 360 hub. So you get really quick engagement with a ratcheting system and 40 points of contact. As far as what comes with these, you can see we have both wheels. We have the Shimano hub pre-installed, and then you have these really cool accessory packs. So you should have everything you need to get started. So you have instruction manual, you have additional decals, and little protective clear decals. You get the quick release levers, which is obviously what you need with the rim brake setup, with the Mavic branding on there. You also get their tubeless valves here with a little tool for the valve removal, as well as the carbon brake pads. These are carbon specific and they're also Mavic branded, but of course you could probably use other carbon fiber specific brake pads. You also get some additional tools here for some of the removal, so you can see Mavic branded, as well as that little lever, which you can see has those specific slots that will go into the slots on the axles. There's also a nice little tire lever as well, so you can use this in a pinch. The other one has the same contacts, but for the front wheel. Now let's take a look at the weight of the wheels. So without any valves installed, and you don't need any tubeless tape either, because of the smooth rim profile. You can see the front wheel comes in at 600 grams. Then if we grab the rear one, which should be heavier as it has the freewheel on there, this is the Shimano setup. That one is 802 grams. Visually, the Cosmic SL40 has this beautiful exposed carbon fiber weave and a NACA profile 40 millimeter depth. So this gives you nice aero benefits without being too unruly in heavy side winds. The exterior width on this is 26 millimeters, so a little bit more modern. And the whole wheel set is designed to run between 25 to 32, so you get a pretty broad range. Obviously, being a rim brake setup, you are limited by your frame, so you're really not going to be running 40s or anything like that, as most rim brake bikes are limited to 32 anyways. As far as the design, you can see it's pretty much an all black design. So if you're a big fan of Mavic, you probably remember the yellow spokes. So there are no yellow spokes here, as they went out through a bankruptcy because of the cost. So you can see these just have a standard black design. And you do have a little bit of a throwback to that yellow spoke with the Mavic sticker. So you can also remove the sticker if you want a cleaner look. And you also have the Mavic sticker on the hubs as well. It would have been nice to see a carbon fiber hub and a full yellow spoke, but we understand that add another spoke obviously adds more cost and yet another part number. So with this wheel set, they've really tried to streamline everything to make it easier for the consumer and produce less parts so it's more affordable to build. As far as the rim profile, again, you have a 19mm inner profile. It is a hooked rim, so you can see there's a hook in there, so that means you can use most standard setups. And you can see it's a nice clean design, so you don't need any tubeless tape or anything like that, as there are no exposed holes here. You can see same carbon fiber weave all the way through, and really clean design with just the hole for the valve. The weave on here is also really nice looking, so pretty consistent all the way through. But you do have the parting line between the two halves of the spoke where they're actually attached together, which is a little bit more obvious here when the light hits it. Some might be a little disappointed with the inner width too. It's not super wide. At 19, it's more modern than the traditional 17 ones, but still gives you a wide range. So again, you will be limited by your bike, so that 25 to 32 should be sufficient for most people. The other cool feature about this is the brake-in surface. One of the big downsides to a rim brake setup is the brake-in is not as nice as disc, but Mavic has really designed new technologies to augment the brake-in surface. So with this one, you get their iTgMAX, and it provides really short and reliable braking in any condition. You can see visually there's a slight difference in color, and that's because this actually has a one-piece carbon fiber design, so no cut weaves or anything for optimal performance. And they also have this laser etching, which gives a little bit of texture and more texture for the brake pads to bite into. So they're definitely been around for a few years and people really rave about it. So it's pretty much the best braking surface you can get for a rim brake setup. Mavic recommends obviously using their own branded brake pads, but obviously a carbon brake pad should work on this. The other cool feature about this is the hub. So you get the infinity hubs on this. So that consists of these radially mounted spokes on the outer part of the hub. And then you can see the non-drive side has this crisscross pattern. So they're non-overlapping and they have a more uniform distribution and tension, which is supposed to give it more efficiency. You can see it's also a really simple design, as this uses the iTgMAX 360 design. So the hub comes off, no additional special parts required. So really easy to service. And again, the whole idea with the Mavic rebranding and restructuring is that everything's serviceable and this is shared. All the internals of this are shared throughout the lineup, so very easy to get parts. You still have the Mavic specific spokes though, which are these bladed spokes here. And you've had these wheels before or other Mavics. You'll know that they can be hard to come by, especially when they went bankrupt. You couldn't get these spokes anymore, and I personally had to buy one from eBay France just to fix my wheel set. But with this one, the front and rear are the same length, so you don't have special part numbers again. So if you do need to replace it, they're interchangeable, which is really nice. The other cool thing with this is the hub on here, the freewheel. This is a Shimano setup, but you can see this is their Instant Drive 360. So it's a ratcheting design with 40 points of engagement. So you can see it really has only a 9-degree engagement angle, so it doesn't really take much. And that means when you're riding, you stop pedaling. When you pedal again, you don't have that lost momentum. So a pretty nice setup, again, very easy to maintain and service. So they've really simplified everything and give you a more modern experience. Now let's take a look at the setup of these wheels. We actually put them on our specialized Tarmac SL5. It's one of the last Tarmacs that were still rim brake. And you can see here it's a very attractive chameleon finish with the SRAM 11-speed setup. So very easy to put on this Shimano compatible freewheel. We went with the Continental 5000 tires and this nice tan sidewall. Great tires, so very robust and durable, so you can use them just about any condition and they definitely feel fast. Putting them on is very simple. You just wrap them around and then gently roll the last piece on. With this tube setup, you do want to be careful not to pinch them. And as always with a carbon fiber wheel, you don't want to use any metal levers or excessive force that might damage the carbon fiber. So you just use a little bit of extra care and put it on. Mavic Cerium wheels, you can see these don't have the yellow spoke or the yellow hub. So it would have been nice to see these more premium details like the carbon fiber hub on there. But you can see you do have that little yellow sticker that's reminiscent of the spoke. Now let's take a look at the wheel set installed on our specialized Tarmac. As you can see here, they're really beautiful, especially when the sun hits them. You have that exposed carbon fiber weave. That one-piece braking surface that blends in, it's just a little bit lighter, so when you look up closely, you can see a little bit different texture. But otherwise, they really blend in and make this look more like a disc wheel set rather than a traditional aluminum brake setup. You don't have the yellow spoke or the yellow hubs, which we liked about the previous Mavic wheels, but you do have the stickers, which really bring it back to the Mavic branding. We actually swapped out our cerium wheels for these, and at 40mm depth, these are a little bit heavier, but still feel fast and responsive with a carbon fiber construction. You have the nice aero benefits of the deeper dish, the bladed spokes, so it really feels fast on flatter roads, and it's still not too heavy, so it's still responsive. So on climbing, we found it to be pretty nice. So really nice versatile wheel. It's that mid-depth setup that's great for training or racing and can be used for just about anything. You also get that nice sound with the carbon fiber wheels that do the little womp womp, especially when you're riding faster. So pretty nice setup and versatile. You can see here with the Continental tires, they have a little bit of color contrast. And again, the braking surface sort of just blends in. So overall, we're impressed with it. The hub sound also sounds really nice. It's not too loud. You have a nice mechanical ratcheting sound. And if you backpedal, it becomes a little bit louder. So if you're coming up to pedestrians on a shared roadway, you can always backpedal to make sure they hear you. The one downside of this bike setup is the hubs on here. They have 90-degree engagement, which feels like an older wheel set. They feel like our cerium, so pretty slow to engage. And when you're stop pedaling and pedal again, you kind of have that clunk effect, so you have to actively kind of ease into it rather than pedaling strong. Compared to the Bontrager tires, which have 2 or 3 degrees higher point engagement, these feel a little bit more dated, but you do have easier serviceability. The best thing about these wheels, though, is the braking performance. You can hear they're a little bit loud. That's one downside, but they're very similar to the Zalith wheel sets and one of the best rim braking performances that we've ever experienced. They're also comparable to disc brakes, so even in the wet or dry conditions, it doesn't matter. They're fade-free, and they work well thanks to the textured surface and then the carbon fiber specific brake pads. So really impressive braking surface and give you a lot of confidence. And with this rim brake setup, you don't have to worry about rotors scratching or rubbing against anything. They're very easy to set up, easy to swap. And one of the big advantages of the rim brake setup is they're very easy to service as well. You don't need to have to deal with hydraulic fluids or anything like that. It's a great wheel set, a nice way to upgrade your older bike or stick with a more simple rim brake setup. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Mavic Cosmic SL40. What we like about them, they're competitively priced. For the wheel depth and carbon fiber construction, pretty comparable to other wheels on the market, and you have a more modern inner and outer width. You also have very strong braking thanks to their laser etched surface, so that means you can brake whether it's wet or dry, and it's comparable or better than a lot of disc brake setups. You also have very attractive exposed carbon fiber weave that makes the wheel set look really nice. As far as negatives, the brakes are very loud, so when you're braking, everyone will know. And Mavic does not include wheel bags or extra spokes with the wheels, which is unfortunate because at least the spokes should have been included, as not every shop will have these Mavic specific spokes. Taking everything into account, would give the Cosmic SL40 a 9.3 out of 10. They provide very confident braking and have a versatile depth that gives you aerodynamic benefits while still being very responsive. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclists. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.